It's the ESCtips.com Eurovision Preview Podcast. Join us as we sort this year's contenders from the duds.
Attention, you are now entering a fanboy-free zone.
Hello and welcome to the last of this year's Eurovision Preview podcasts. On Monday, we'll be in Stockholm reporting on rehearsals along with our two guests today. In fact, one of our guests is already there. It's his first time on our Eurovision podcast, but given Sweden are hosting and have a chance of winning again, we had to invite Aftonbladet's Tobbe to make sense of this Franz hype. Hey Tobbe.
Hey Gavin, thank you for having me.
How are your preparations going for Eurovision?
Well, fairly slow this year. Actually, I should probably be much more into it by now, but I will take it up, and come Monday, you won't know that I've been so slow on it.
And how's Krista holding up after making the front page of last week's Mirror in the UK?
He's all right. I think he's probably having a laugh about it, but I think SVT is not too happy, and especially also with him having all these slurs about the songs and what he thinks about them. He's now realised that that's not a really good thing to do when you're the show producer.
But then SVT, I noticed yesterday, had published an article with Oscar Sia commenting that Russia are basically copying Malms's stadium from last year.
Yeah, that's fine. and because that's no problem. This is taken from our previews.
Okay.
The SVT show previews, where Oscar Sia is one in the panel. So even though SVT are the hosts this year, they are also broadcasting the show and must be able to do previews as every year. Although Krista is hosting that show and he's made it totally clear that he can't have opinions about the songs.
Right. Next up, we have invited fellow gambler and co-founder of SofaBet.com, Daniel Gould. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, Gavin. It's great to be back.
Good. How are you looking forward to another 2-week diet of cake and chocolate wafers?
Yeah, I mean, it's not good for my waistline, but I love it. It's my favourite time of year, so I'm getting very excited.
Yeah, you and me both. I can't wait for the Swedish cakes again.
You're just going to have knäckebröd this year. It's going to be a diet of knäckebröd and water.
Oh. Right, today we're talking about this year's automatic qualifiers, who are France, Germany, Italy, Spain, last year's winner Sweden, and lastly the United Kingdom. So in current betting market order, starting from lowest to highest chance of winning, that means we start with the UK duo, Joe and Jake, with their song You Are Not Alone. Now I know Daniel couldn't wait to talk about this. You're not alone in your love for this, Daniel, are you? I jest, of course.
I don't mind the song so much. It's perfectly kind of serviceable, if slightly generic, kind of boy pop. It's just the execution looks amateurish, and of course I hold no hopes that the BBC are going to stage it in a good way. I mean, the last few years have been disastrous from that viewpoint, from that aspect. And it's really important to get staged well and it comes across professionally, because it's fishing in the same waters as a lot of other songs this year, and I fear it's going to get badly lost as a result. And I don't think the song deserves to be bottom 5 necessarily, but I think there's a real danger of that happening for the reasons I've just explained.
Yeah, I kind of thought that as well. I think they took the best bit of Coldplay's Adventure of a Lifetime, that guitar riff, and then gradually made the package worse with every edition. And what they've ended up with is a Josh W. That Sounds Good to Me, but with modern instrumentation. I think the guys work well together, and unusually for the UK, they haven't sent the worst song. I just think it's a bit amateurish. I think people will like Joe and Jake, and I think depending on the staging, there's a slim chance of them just exiting the bottom 5 or 6, but I think the positives will be, I don't think we'll be the worst automatic qualifier. Tobbe?
Well, the thing is, I was so happy when the UK decided to have a qualifying round back home, and when I heard the songs, I was like, really? Can't you do better than this? And with Joe and Jake, they are charming, but they are a tad bit boring. and they don't really. I don't see how they can take on a huge stage like the Eurovision at Globen, even though Globen is a fairly small arena compared to lots of other Eurovision stages, and reach through the TV cameras and reach out to the audience and make this song actually fly, because it is just like you guys mentioned, it's rather generic, and even though it's not horrible in any way, it's just bland, and bland doesn't really do it at Eurovision. I really keep my fingers crossed that they will make the result will be better than bottom 5. I hope that they will make it into like 15th or 16th place at least, so that the UK doesn't take out the element of having a pre-qualifying round back home again.
Yeah, I think the people in the UK need it to do better than the last few years, just so the BBC keeps on the current track and keeps the national final. And I think now that they've got various music industry PR people that can put forward acts, I think they need that to continue. I think it's a songwriting they need to improve on more. They could easily. When I questioned you a few years ago, how much would a Debs song cost?
I'm not sure that they actually charge you for writing songs. They to Melody Festival and they submit songs, and then they the songs that are entered. They give to the artists that they think can actually perform them the best. But of course, they might, if somebody orders a song from them, well, how much could it be? Like £25,000, perhaps?
Yeah, that's what I thought. 25 grand. Yeah. Probably the best 25 grand the BBC will ever spend. And then all they have to do is find someone with a good voice and a bit of personality that can sell actually a current song.
Because I know that the Swedish songwriters like Fredrik Kempe and if somebody approaches them and wants to, can you write me a song, and it's for some kind of commercial purpose, but it's not something that they themselves really want to put their effort into, they would probably charge between 5,000 and 10,000 pounds to write a song for them that is a decent song, but it's not a major hit. You know, if somebody is putting up a show or something and they want something specifically written in, if it's humor or comedy or something, they would probably charge between 5,000 and 10,000. They would pull out their bottom drawer and take something out of there and finish that stuff. But if you want them to properly write a song that is aiming for gold, then they would have to put more effort into it, and then probably £25,000, I'd say.
I think we could crowdfund that. Anyway, surprisingly, the next worst song on the order is Germany. Jamie Lee will sing Ghost. Tobbe, have Germany vanished?
Well, I fairly like this song. It's dark and moody and catchy, but I just can't take it that she's dressing up like some mixture between a cartoon and do you remember the Swedish artist a couple of years ago?
Yes,
Yohio.
Yeah.
This is kind of the German female version of Yohio mixed up with Alice in Wonderland or something. And with that, since her appearance doesn't go very well with the mood of the song, I think that the TV viewers won't take it. They're going to be like, what's she doing there? Why is she wearing that? And they won't listen to the song because her performance and her outfit will probably take all the focus.
Yeah, actually, before people saw what she would be wearing in the German national final, Germany occupied, I would say, the top 5 or 6 in the betting market. But since people saw that, and obviously since many other songs have been selected, they've just drifted and drifted and drifted. And I think what she's wearing, you've just echoed everyone else's points. Daniel, are you haunted by Jamie Lee's dress sense?
Yeah, I agree here that as a song, I really liked it. And then watching the national final, the live performance felt like watching paint dry. It was just dull and dark, and it didn't hold my interest at all. And she's too young for the song. She's wearing this crazy outfit. I think it's one of those songs that will do far worse than it should, because it's a radio song. It's not a song to be enjoyed on a Saturday night at the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah, I think it could have done much better had she been dressed correctly or had it been staged correctly. You are right. It's a brilliant radio song. I think the juries will like it, but I just think so many will overlook it or just bypass it because the wrong element is so prominent in it.
On the other hand, I don't know anything about Jamie Lee. If this is her style, I would. If I was the artist and this was my style, I would not compromise on that because of a competition. And if she feels that this is how she wants to be perceived, then she would not have been happier would she gone out in a little black dress and sung herself to a 15th place instead of a 23rd place. So I think she's the one that has to make her decision, but I do think that her outfit will make the result worse.
Yeah, agree. Anyway, let's get over to Spain. Barret, yeah, Barret will be singing "Say Yay." Daniel, are you say yay or say nay?
I quite like it myself because I'm always up for any kind of upbeat trash.
Who are you calling trash?
This sort of fulfills that criteria.
I'm going to call you trash, Daniel.
It's the kind of song that really juries don't like, and that will kill its chances, as will her terrible foot shuffle dance that kind of cheapens the already pretty cheap chorus. So I fear for its chances on May the 14th.
Okay, well, don't stay on the fence, Daniel. Tobbe, you've been practicing your shuffle.
Of course I have, and I'm going to be trashing Daniel for saying such things. No, the thing is, I like this song, and I like her, and I like the song. I think this is going to be one of the songs that will last from this year on dance floors, on Eurovision dance floors across Europe. People will dance to this. I've liked it from the first time I heard it, but I'm quite confident that the Spanish guys are going to just ruin it on stage, like they quite often do. When they put up a decent song, they do the staging horrible, and that's what I fear for this. So unfortunately, Barret will have to say nay.
Yeah, it's safe to say I'm not Barret's greatest fan, but I do at least
Should be.
I do at least salute her for awakening Spain from their Latin and ballad coma, but I think after this year's result, I do think they'll slip back into that. I think the Amsterdam OGE polls have shown this is a huge fan favourite, but based on what we've seen in Amsterdam, the slightly dodgy vocals and amateurish staging, I can't see it not being in the bottom three in Stockholm. That's where it's going for me. On that note, let's move over to Italy. Francesca Michelin will sing No Degree of Separation. Tobbe, how do you rate Italy's chances this year?
I really like this song, and I like her as an artist as well. And I think that making parts of the lyrics in English will open up the song for an even wider audience.
Do you think it comes too late?
No, not at all. I don't think so. I think that the way she does the song, since Italy has done so well the last couple of years singing in only Italian, opening up the song with parts of the lyrics in English will make their chances even bigger this year. But apart from that, it's a quite ordinary Italian song. Of course, it doesn't stand out. It's not that grand or that huge. But the fact that Europeans seems to love Italian, and that she's also inviting everyone that doesn't know Italian into the song this year, I think she's going to do fairly well.
Yeah, it's typical Italian class, isn't it? I actually backed this for top Big Five the other day, which backers of France probably won't enjoy. But I've got to quote one
We'll see what I say later.
I've got to quote one of our ESCtips writers, Substantial. He wrote last week in his London review, every Italian act that hasn't crawled around the stage has finished in the jury top 10. So I went and got some 16-1 on it being top big five, just on the fact that it could potentially do well with the juries, which I think it will. And we at least know Francesca's vocal can be relied on, which we can't say about the current second favourite in the market. I think they'll probably finish around 12th to 14th, though. What about you, Daniel? What degree of separation will there be between Italy's jury and televote?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's distinctive in the sense that most of it is in Italian, as we've said. I mean, she was mesmerising for me at the London Eurovision party. She sang it with such emotion, and the fragility of her vocal was gorgeous. So it's been the biggest grower of all the songs in this year's contest. So, like you guys say, I can see it doing very well with juries. Televotes, I mean, who knows? It can go from anything from Marco Mengozzi to Emma Moroni. So, it is really a question of that degree of separation, the jury and televote, and it could be pretty wide. But I hope she does well.
We last talked about him in our Melody Festival and preview podcast. He won that and has since gone on to break a few records. France will be hoping to lift the trophy on home turf with If I Were Sorry. Tobbe, will Sweden be sorry if they win again?
I think SVT will be sorry, but Sweden will be amazingly happy if France was to win it. I don't think he will, though. I think he will do well because the song has that type of power and he's that charming on stage. I did not see it until he performed in front of an audience. I did not see it coming during rehearsals. But when I've seen him take on an audience the way he does, in the shyness and in the basic lack of interest in the audience, he just sings for himself. People seems to get so enticed by that, at least here in Sweden, and I think he can do that again on the Eurovision stage. With this said, it is much more of a radio hit than it is an immediate song for the Eurovision. So I think that he will have the juries, but I don't think he will have the televotes. But he will definitely make it into top 10, hopefully top 5.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page in terms of definitely top 10. I would say definitely top 5 because I can see it easily top 3 or 4 with the juries. I think its main strength is its simplicity in a year that promises to be another technological arms race. It's current, it's the type of song that Justin Bieber or Ed Sheeran would release and enjoy international success. And all the signs are suggesting that France is about to have that international success. It's already triple platinum in Sweden. It's already done very well on Spotify. It's difficult to quantify how this will affect the result in Eurovision because how people digest music is constantly shifting. So whereas the last few years we've put most focus on iTunes, actually Spotify is starting to take over iTunes in some countries. So it's difficult which factors to read. What about you, Daniel? As a fellow gambler, we do have to consider the negatives as well as the positives. And with France, there seems to be plenty of both. Which side are you leaning towards?
Don't trash my homeboy now.
I am very positive on France. And apart from sort of agreeing with most of what you guys said, what I will say is that we're worrying about the televote here. And it became a sensation when people saw it on TV for the first time in Sweden in the semi-final. So it's kind of proven itself as something that could grab a TV audience. So I'm even more optimistic about its chances than you guys in that respect. I don't worry about its slot in the running order because I think it's incredibly distinctive. So, yeah, I think it's, like you, Gav, I think it's definite top 5.
Yeah, and I think it really just depends what... everyone is worrying about that, the weakness of 9th in the running order, but we can't fully judge the impact of that until we see how the rest of the field look and which halves they're drawn into. So if all of the competition is drawn into the first half as well, not all of it can be after France. Anyway, last up, we have France. Like Sweden, Amir Cherche has split opinion. Daniel, is Amir what you've been looking for?
He wasn't initially. My instincts weren't favourable when the song came out. It was mainly in French. I had some issues with the structure, i.e. the second chorus starts very early, so you kind of have got the refrain quite a lot even before the final minutes. And the bridge sounds a bit like the verse, so it kind of feels a bit repetitive. I thought Amir was missing the high notes every time, so I was picking on all these little things about it. But I mean, since it's become such a hype song, thanks to the fans' love for it, I have tried to wonder if I'm missing the wood from the trees, and what we do have in the bigger picture is a nice, uplifting song with an insistent hook performed by a really charming, good-looking guy. And sometimes that is enough to mean you do very well.
Yeah, I would tend to agree that it's a definite improvement for France. For France. But as ever, I think the markets have gotten overexcited about another French language song. If I think of Eurovision winners, or at least top 4 songs, there's always that feeling of something special. And I just don't get that from Amir's song. As Dan pointed out, Amir has struggled with the vocal, more so since they added that freestyle bit to the ending. I don't think it's going to please the juries as much as people expect. And combined with the traditional lack of televote for France, I don't see it troubling the top 5. I went back to 2009, Patricia Cass's effort, and she finished 4th with the juries with what was really nice artistic song. But even then, she finished 17th with the televote, which just goes to show how poorly people receive French language songs. Tobbe, can France hold off France?
I do think France will hold off France. I'm so if that means that France is gonna do better than La France. I think that was what I meant anyway. I'm so surprised that Amir's song is the fan favorite, because for me this is kind of a little bit like running scared when Azerbaijan won in Germany a couple of years ago. It's a decent song. He has a somewhat modern sound, but he doesn't stand out in the way that a winner would be doing. But when it comes to Running Scared, there was no big favorite that year, but that was a song that could be liked by many. And I think this is the same thing. This is a song that can be liked by many, but there are much bigger favorites this year than in 2011. So I don't think he has a chance to win.
No, I agree. Sorry to my Twitter frenemies, but I'm still not a France convert. I think that brings us to the end. Any other points that anyone wants to bring up? I tell you what, let's each try and pick 3 songs that we think should probably do well. Oh, come on, you must have listened to them, Tobbe.
Bugger!
Go on then, Tobbe. Who do you think the 3 that could potentially do well?
3 songs. I would say that one of my absolute favorites is Australia, and I think with that modern sound and the fact that she is a great singer on stage, a great personality, and she can really entice the audience, she's going to do well. I also think that Russia's Sergei Lazarev is going to do really, really well, even though his song sounds like it's from 2008. He's going to do an extraordinary performance, and people are going to love it. He's going to have the televotes there. And out of the Big 5 and last year's winner, I would say that either Sweden's Frans or Italy's Francesca will be up there fighting for the win as well.
Ooh. Dan?
Yeah, if you put a gun to my head and tell me to name 3 against the field, the 3 are in no particular order: Sweden, Russia, and Australia.
Okay. I'm going to put 3. I'm going to add 1 different. I'm going to say Sweden, Latvia, and Russia. There we go. As I said at the beginning of the podcast, we're all going to be in Sweden on Monday. You can follow Daniel at sofabet.com and follow their Twitter, which is also at sofabet. Tobbe, do you want to name your blog?
You'll find me at Aftonbladet.se, the Swedish newspaper.
Okay, and we will, at ESCtips, we will have our chat room open. That will be populated with various gamblers. So that's always a good place to go to get, I suppose, level-headed, non-fan bias commentary on the videos that do emerge throughout the day. Other than that, that's it from us. Thank you to Daniel and Tobbe. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
And that's it from us for this year. Stay tuned during rehearsals. So for now, goodbye.
ESCtips.com will return with another show soon. In the meantime, show us some love by following us and sharing this podcast with your Facebook and Twitter friends.